Hi, aligned souls. Welcome to the Soul Revival podcast, where we have meaningful conversations to help you explore tools and healing methods that help you return to your soul self. Join us as we help you merge the ethereal and the material worlds, allowing you to live your most fulfilling and aligned life. I'm Lindsay Stanton, author, somatic practitioner, intuitive Reiki master, and grief coach.
Hello, I am Autumn, a believer in miracles, intuitive guide, and psychic medium. We're your hosts and guides. We don't just talk healing, we live it. This is where soul meets strategy, spirit meets structure, and our highest selves take the mic.
Welcome back to the Soul Revival podcast.
Today is a fun, exciting episode all about Lindsay and I as healers and what our sessions are like, what we offer, and how we really bring healing to humanity. So, Lindsay, I will let you start.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know about you, Autumn, but my journey and the tools and modalities that I leverage in my client sessions was 100% divinely led. I was guided to tools that really, and I think this is important because I've walked the walk as you have as well, but I have really used these tools and they were so fundamental in my healing journey. And that's why I can intentionally layer them in a way that helps other people because I've lived it, I've experienced it. And I think that's so important, especially when we're talking about things related to grief and trauma and the unique layering experiences that happened when we're going through those things. And for those who've experienced grief, you know it's just a constant journey. I mean, the waves and the intensity of the waves might change, day to day, year after year, but it is always there. And so that's, I think, even more reason why having these tools is so important because it really does help you to be able to navigate those waves when they come at you thrashing hard. And ultimately, it's not really about stopping you from feeling the sadness and feeling the grief, but allowing you to transmute it quicker, understanding that it is ultimately love. And so the tools that I was guided to early in my journey 100% represent that. I think for me, I talked about this, I think, in episode 1, but Akashic records were something I was totally drawn to. So just doing that deep work myself then built the foundation for the tools that I use with my clients now. And I was guided to intuitive Reiki, which is basically like mediumship combined with Reiki, which I absolutely love because, and this is the foundational element I use in my client sessions because it helps me to understand what's going on in their chakras, but it's also the method of which I get communication. So I'll see signs from loved ones on the other side when I'm in their chakras. Most importantly, I get information in a variety of ways. I get a lot of felt senses in my body, but of areas of their body that they might need to concentrate on that relate to their emotions and their journey. So I will frequently see when I'm in their chakras things related to things they might need to release. It could be elements that have created overwhelm in their grief, but going into their chakras and having those intuitive sessions is really important. When I'm working with clients one-on-one, I really like when I'm focusing on human clients because I'll talk in a minute about the non-human clients. When I'm working with human clients, I really like to do a series of sessions just because I generally kick off with, if somebody's coming to me specifically for grief, I will generally kick off with a 90-minute intensive, which is just really important because everybody's at different places on their grief journey and also their spiritual journey, and they really are one and the same. So it's important for me to foundationally understand like what signs they're getting that they recognize they're getting. And oftentimes people come to me telling me during the first session that they're not getting signs or they're open to signs, but they're not getting them. Their friends, their family are getting them. And then it is like literally the most beautiful thing ever when they have that aha moment. And it pretty much always happens during that first intensive session that they are getting signs. They just didn't recognize it. And that's why I think both you and I always refer to ourselves as guides, because these things are there. They're experiencing them. They just need to be guided to recognize them. And it's more of a remembrance that we are more than our physical body, and helping them connect to that energy.
Yeah, I feel like I love that you said that. But it's also conscious awareness, right? Like bringing the conscious awareness to the present moment for them to really utilize and see, oh my goodness, like everything is a sign. Everything has a meaning. Nothing is coincidence.
Yeah.
Um, you touch base on the non-human healer, the non-human healers that you do. What is that about? Tell the world about what you are offering.
So my whole life I've been like called to the animal world for sure. I mean, just even as a kid, I would have so many experiences with animals, and animals' energy is just so pure, so beautiful. And I've had so much communication with my own animals. And for me, that's dogs, but I grew up with all types of animals. But I do animal communication sessions, and I've done everything from helping dogs in the show world to show better, kind of make sure that they are in partnership. And I think that's the through line with all my animal communication sessions. It's really actually often not about the animal, it's what's the animal telling you. And me as the healer to help improve communication and the partnership with their human. And it is always like a tag team deal. So the animal will show me things that need to be changed. So that's where actually the Reiki is super helpful, because I'll actually tap into the chakra points of both the human and the animal. And then we'll see where they're, oftentimes it's like they're butting heads on something that's creating the friction or the issue. And so, or like even just with, I mean, I've had dogs with traumatic backgrounds, health issues. I mean, Reiki sessions can be extremely beneficial. I've used it with my own dogs too. Extremely beneficial to healing our animals that have health issues as well.
I don't know. For those watching on video, I think an ant just bit me. He's like, give me some of that. Give me some of that energy. That is so beautiful. I think that, Lindsay, I know that I stated in the beginning that when I used to go on group calls, I would look for your energy because it was so grounding and so safe and just so pure. And I can't imagine an animal being in that space with you to feel that comfort and that safety, to really for them to understand and express themselves the way that they need to. And I'm really excited for you in the animal world because I think it's the world is changing very fast, and this is going to become a very common subject. And it's a very great place for you to be because I just love your energy, and I can't imagine an animal getting in to tap into that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's amazing. I'm so thankful to be able to work with all the clients that I work with on their journeys. And, whether it's a grief journey, whether it's an animal here in the physical world. I mean, the sessions I do can help people facilitate relationship and communication with their animals on the other side too. And I have definitely had a lot of animals lately that are here in the physical world that are dealing with something with their human partner. So that's been a very common theme lately, which I'm more than open to, because their energy is just so pure, so beautiful. And it's always interesting to see things from their perspective. And sometimes, they've got some humorous things they are sharing about, like what their human is trying to do to get them to do something, when like at the end of the day, like all communication really is like creating ease of flow. And when we're trying to communicate with the other side, when we're trying to communicate with our animals here in the physical world, we need to take down those barriers, those expectations, and like any energy that's forceful. And it's got to be a flow energy. And ultimately, I end up guiding the humans to be able to do a better job of partnering with their animal.
I love that. I love that. Is there anything else you offer with this? I know you said you do like the sessions and the animal communication. Do you ever do like just one-on-one sessions without the intensive?
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes people just want a chakra clearing or healing. They might have, grief or trauma or just dealing with something in their physical body that they've stored for years and they just need a quick clearing session. So I can do that as a one-off. But probably what I do the most with human clients is the one-on-one coaching where they buy a package of coaching sessions with me so that we're incorporating. The one thing I didn't mention is I got trained in somatic therapy, and I was definitely guided to that. It felt just so yummy as a modality. It just resonated with me so deeply, and something that I would want for myself and my journey. And the training that I got was very experiential, which I very much appreciated. Um, but I would say it layers really well with chakra healing because it's what is the felt sense in the body guiding you towards. And to me, those two things layer together so beautifully. So I will use a lot of that education of somatics to learn when I'm, especially in those intensives, about what, where we're being guided, where you might need additional clearing, where you might be holding things. Because so many times, like we have regrets or rumination that amplifies our grief. And so, getting to those root causes that oftentimes the body is telling us are there and we might not even be aware are there really helps in transitioning into more of a healing, joyful energy.
I love that. And there's one more that I'm fascinated with because I know it is a miracle worker in itself, is the work that you do with dreams.
Oh, yes. That honestly, probably the most fun thing I get to do with clients is deep diving into their dreams. So, I have a lot of clients who will come to me or even as part of their package want to start to facilitate more dream visits. For those who know me or have worked with me, it's very unusual for me to go 2 weeks or more without having a dream visit. I have a lot of dream visits with my husband on the other side, a lot, and they are always intentional. They always have a purpose, whether it's just to show me love, whether it's connecting to something going on in my physical world, whether it's to show me things related to my purpose as a healer. So much powerful information about my soul lies in the messages in my dream visits. And so much of those dreams are really signs and symbolism because the communication in the 5D is so much larger than what we're capable of here in the 3D. So we have to kind of digest and unpack those messages and understand intuitively what they're guiding us to. And so I've been working with clients to help them do that, to facilitate dream visits if they're not getting a lot of them or don't recognize they're getting a lot of them, give them the tools to be able to get more dream visits, which is so amazing. I'm thinking of one client specifically right now who literally went from having no dream visits to rapid fire having them like almost every night, like, and that just makes my heart so happy. I mean, because it literally, you could see the light in her eyes after she started having these dream visits, and they were guiding her to her purpose as a healer. And so it was giving her, these dreams were giving her so many nuggets. And so through my own intuitive and medium abilities, I was able to help her unpack what those dreams represents, what those symbolisms represented. And she was lighting up as a healer as a result because everything I was sharing was resonating with her deeply and she felt that at a soul level. So, yeah, the dream work is amazing because I feel like it ties, all of this is about what I call our why. Any grief or trauma that we go through is ultimately to help us honor our why as the purpose of us being here as humans in this human experience. And dreams are just such a powerful way for us to really tap into the messaging that lies with our why and our soul's purpose.
Oh, I love that. I know I've witnessed the dream um class too. Well, you've helped me with my dreams and setting intentions and what I should do before bed and what I shouldn't do before bed. This was probably 2 years ago too, and it amplified my dreams too. So I'm so glad you're giving that back to whoever is wanting dream visits and awareness around dreams too, because it really unpacks the subconscious mind too. What's going on in the subconscious mind to then reprogram the subconscious mind to align with the conscious and just help you rewire that part of your brain that's constantly looping.
Exactly. And also, I feel like the more you do the work around dreams, the more you can tap into lucid dreaming, which is ultimately where so much power lies. So it's definitely one of those things that the more you take the steps to protect your sleep and be intentional to invite in dreams and dream visits, then the more you're gonna like shift to lucid dreaming. I would say I think almost all my dreams are lucid at this point. So, but that's after years of, doing this work.
We have an exciting opportunity to share with you.
Did you know inside the Soul Revival community, we have a giveaway? One lovely soul is gifted something sacred, a Reiki session, an intuitive reading, a powerful course, or even access into the community itself. This isn't just a giveaway. It's a soul blessing, a moment where healing meets divine timing. You'll feel the shift, you'll see the signs, and you'll know you're not alone anymore. Say yes to your intuition, your healing, your next chapter. Enter now at the link below in the show notes labeled Soul Revival Giveaway for your chance to win.
Let's get back to today's episode.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so that
Share your goddess magic with us, Autumn. We want to hear about your goddess magic.
yeah, so I call myself the Heart Restoration Goddess. I named myself that about 5 years ago now. Because, like Lindsay had stated, you have to walk the walk in order to resonate with the energy inside of that person's body that you are working on to relate and transmute that energy. So from a young age, I always ask myself, why am I going through the things I'm going through? What did I sign up for to have to go through this? So for those who don't know, I've gone through, child abuse, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, drug abuse, all of a lot of heavy energies from a very young age. And at the time, I kept attaching to the titles as if it's a me problem, as if I am the reason all of this is happening. Even though I always knew I would always be connected to my angels and I always knew that love existed. No matter what I was going through, I always knew love was out there. So fast forward to then my best friend passing away in 2018. Um, he was literally my soulmate. He was the light at the end of every tunnel for me. He really just was my safe space. I lived with him in high school. I lived with his grandparents actually in high school, and he just was a light for me. So when he passed and I started hearing from him, he was giving me all of the signs, and I knew that it was time to really start my healing journey. So through meditation, which Lindsay and I talked about, I really started transmuting this energy inside of me. And it's really important to talk about the energy that I went through and I transmuted, because a lot of my sessions, people aren't familiar with the energy they're storing inside of their body. And we don't have to put conscious awareness on it, but it's important as the healer to understand, oh, I feel this energy. I know what this is related to. So then you can pinpoint it and transmute that energy. I heard a word yesterday, a psychic healer, and I feel like that resonates with me so much because, like Lindsay had stated with Reiki and tapping into the chakras, it's really going into the chakras and being psychically aware of the energy they're holding in there to transmute it. And then I bridge with my mediumship abilities. Sometimes people want to be validated in their story from the other side because they feel like they have done wrong and they're not deserving of love, or they're not deserving of the freedom. because they attach to what has happened to them as if it's a them problem. So if spirit taps me like, hey, tell them we see her, we hold her in this light, we know what's going on. That validation really releases a lot of heavy emotion inside of them to then become aware of, okay, there is love. Love does exist. This is more the trauma side. I know grief is trauma as well, but it's all layered together in such a, a way that I don't understand it fully. But like Lindsay had stated as well, in the beginning, I started with meditation and then I went to sound healing. So sound healing is magnificent. I believe that our energy really resonates with the vibrations that the sound give out. There's a YouTube video called Sand Resonance or something of that sort. I will link it below, where the vibrations of HC frequencies move sound to different shapes. And I think that that's what happens within our body as well. When the vibration is moving, our cells and our energy then creates a harmony inside of itself to then release. I believe that I would say 75% of my heart restoration sessions, I have returning clients. Each session is completely different because there's so many layers of our human being that it can't all be healed in 1 hour. And every session is completely different for me. We spend like the first 15, 30 minutes just kind of channeling, connecting, bringing through the medium messages. And then the other half of the session is the Reiki healing. And the way that I do Reiki is I'm a seer. I visualize. So I close my eyes and they show me this meditative like sense. And every visualization is different for the client. So they'll show me things that maybe you've gone through or you've seen, or I know that I've had sessions where people will be like, it's so crazy that you brought up willow trees because when I was a young kid and my father was around, willow trees were all in my yard. Like we had 2 willow trees in my yard. Or I had another session where I brought up a tire swing and she's like, oh my goodness, I went to this Airbnb where I met my other significant other and there was a tire swing there. So there's always like validation through the visualization that spirit will show me to really pinpoint to that specific person to let them know, okay, this is real. Because I think that in my sessions, it's really important to detach the mind and just let flow in, because the minute the mind steps in and is like, wait a second, like, how is this working? What is going on? It can kind of take a different route. So staying very in the moment for me during my sessions and just being authentically myself, because we are all one, I think it really provides healing for the client.
And Autumn, I know you do absolutely beautiful meditations, and I'm assuming you start most of your sessions with meditations. I do as well. I don't know if you like a meditation and visualization to get people to drop all the craziness of the material world. And for those who have not experienced one of Autumn's meditations and visualizations, they're absolutely beautiful. I love them. I love being part of them. They're so healing in and of themselves. But don't you find I find this, and I always think it's interesting because like at the time I'm always like, oh, like I don't know why I'm doing it this way this time. But so many times with the meditation, like even the location of the meditation will be specifically related to some experience the person had. Like for me, it's usually with a loved one on the other side, but it always they always guide me to the meditation that is meant for that person.
Absolutely. I remember one time, like it happens all the time, but this one was very particular. I usually like to start like in a meadow, a beach, a forest, like a generic scenery. And her husband had me starting in a tent. And I'm like, I don't know why we're starting in a tent, but I'm like, he doesn't even want the door open yet. And she was laughing so hard because early on he loved to tent camp and in the woods, and she did not like being in the woods and she didn't want to leave the tent. So he was putting humor on it, but also it was just so funny in full circle because she could not understand like how I was bringing, I wouldn't have, there's no way I know that. And that's the thing too. You just have to trust and allow the flow in. But that's my heart restoration sessions. I also offer divination readings, which is like tarot readings. Those are kind of like to get very quick insight, fast responses. And then I do Reiki sessions as well. So without the medium, just Reiki, and then I also just do mediumship sessions too. But I do really think that there's something so powerful when you bridge them all together in releasing that trauma and that dis-ease inside of the body, because what people don't realize is as humans especially growing up in the world that we grew up in, it was so quick for us to push things down and not speak about things, to push things down. Oh, this happened, push it down, like, and then you're constantly battling it, like the subconscious mind is constantly looping it around no matter how much you try to release it. And some people, they don't even realize what they're carrying or how hard they're carrying, but they feel it in their knees, they feel it in their shoulders, their back. And I really think that the psychic healing or the Reiki really helps with dis-ease in the body to allow that flow in for the communication with the other side in as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, it doesn't, I think it's important to note that I feel like there's people out there probably listening to this. They're going to be like, well, I haven't had like big T trauma or, huge loss. And even if you have not had that, like you are residually holding things, or you very likely are. And I mean, I feel like people could disqualify and say, oh, well, I haven't had big T trauma. But, if you've had like a lot of little T traumas that have built up upon themselves, that can sit within your body too. So, give yourself grace and the respect that your body deserves to go in and have a session like this. If you're struggling with things, even if you feel like you quote unquote shouldn't be, like that's not a real thing. So we've all been through things, we've all dealt with things, we've all had to be, resilient. And I think just having a session like what Autumn offers helps open you up and be more in tune with your own intuition. It helps you be more in flow with your human body. So there's so much beautiful release and healing that occurs with these sessions, regardless of what you have or haven't been through in this lifetime.
Be sure to check out the show notes below to see if you're the winner of our giveaway.
Lindsay, I love that you just mentioned that because trauma affects everyone differently. And even if you feel, quote unquote, that you haven't gone through it or so and so, if you watch a movie, that movie could traumatize your physical body. Your mind doesn't know the difference between
Yeah.
what's real and what's not real. And there's just so much complexity to it that I'm almost positive each and every person on this planet has gone through some sort of trauma, big or little. And I think that if you've gone through the little T, it could affect you just as much as the big T. I don't think that there's any, you know, we shouldn't be comparing each other to one another. We
Exactly.
should understand that, hey, if there's disease in the body, there's something built up and I need to release this somehow and
Yeah.
not quote the problem. You really have to get to the core of the problem. And the way spirit shows me it is almost like a light bulb, right? You have like a circuit. So we're all lights, we're all light beings, we're all souls. And sometimes another light being just needs to put energy on that dis-ease to then supercharge it, as if you're a part of a circuit and a light bulb needs that circuit to then shine or turn
Yeah.
on.
Exactly. I love that analogy. And I think also that this can be used preemptively. So, you don't have to wait till something is going wrong to have benefit. I mean, to be able to have one of these clearing sessions provides so much huge benefit and release to prevent issues in the future, too, whether it's related to your grief journey, whether it's related to your healing journey of your body, whether it's related to healing of trauma. All of these things can be done preemptively, and the more you do this work, whether it's with us or, another trusted healer, the more you dive in and do this work and listen to your body, listen to your intuition, the more you're going to be guided down the path that your soul is truly meant to be, and the less kind of side roads that aren't really meant for you you're going to take, because you're going to be tapped in and tuned in. And having a clearing and intuitive session really helps you tap in and tune into your own inner voice so that you can make those decisions easier. You're more living more in flow. So
Yes, I agree with that 1000%. I also just want to touch base too, because sometimes you could be on this road of spirituality, doing all the things, healing, feeling great, feeling in flow, and then something could happen. So I'm relating to my own story here, where I had the three topics, because there was a moment in that where my physical body, I didn't feel safe in my physical body. I didn't feel safe in my physical body. And instead of ignoring that, I sat with it. I sat with it. I felt it. I did what I needed to do. I went and looked at other healers. Sound healing, like I said, is a huge one for me, to help release it and not sit with the fear of what's going on in the physical body. It is okay to put yourself first and your needs first, even if you're so spiritual and your heart's wide open and your mind is clear and you're really healing. It's all separate, and you need to pay attention to each one, the mind, body, and the soul, to stay in alignment. Because I think that on my own path, when I didn't feel safe in my physical body, it was really hard for me to understand why. And so I just really want to touch base really quick on that, because it's okay to not have three in alignment, but there's people out there that can help you bring those three back into alignment.
100%. And there are so many beautiful safe spaces that can help you on your journey too.
Lindsay, where can people find you to book a session?
Probably the easiest way to find me is Instagram. I'm by far the most active on Instagram at the Healing Grief Guide. My link tree with all my things is on there,
Awesome.
or the website, the Soul Revival. Everything's on there as well.
All right. And if you are looking for a heart restoration session, you could come over to awakenwithautumn.com. I have everything that I offer on there as well. So, yay.
Yay. Well, hopefully this episode resonated with you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
If today's words stirred something in you, that's no coincidence. Your soul is speaking, and it's ready to be heard. If you resonated with today's episode, Spirit is cheering you on, encouraging you. Start choosing yourself again. Start saying yes to your healing, and join our sacred community over at www.thesoulrevival.com.
Because healing is better when we do it together. If you love this episode, be sure to hit follow, leave a review, and share this with someone who's ready to return to their soul self. Thank you, Aligned Souls.